Hey you guys, Charlie here. Welcome back to Conquering Kerbal Space Program. I got a couple of things I wanted to share with you guys. The first thing is Strategia, or Strategia, however you want to pronounce it. This is a new mod that sort of alters the administration building to give you a much more diverse, much more variety in your strategies that you can use to, fulfill your goals. They have great advantages and pretty great benefits, but they also have huge penalties if you don't complete the objective that you've set out to complete. So when you accept a strategy, you really have to make sure you do it. Now this mod was presented to me a long time ago, and by episode 20 or whatever, but I wanted to focus on the functionalities and sort of the parts and the things. I wanted to get that all sorted, and I sort of meant to look at this and then never did. It was brought back to my attention again, and I went, oh yeah, I remember that, so I should probably look at it. Yeah, most of these strategies are actually pretty good for early game play. So they would have been much more beneficial to have in the early game. But it's okay, we have them now, and we can do things like our Duna program, our Duna probes. We can do things for Eve, we can do things for all the different planets that we're going to be experiencing and going with, and it's going to be really great. I will probably upgrade that administration building in order to better cater to that as well. The second thing I wanted to present is Tourism Plus. This is the tourism mod that goes, it's a contract pack basically that has a whole bunch of tourism stuff in it, which is pretty cool. And I think it's sort of like a side mission kind of thing that we can do while we're, waiting for things to transmit to different planets and whatever. And there's some really fun stuff in here like Space Camp. I'm pretty excited about that. Just like trying to think about how I'm going to cater to all of those Kerbals at once in one big flight. That's going to be pretty fun. Okay, so the first mission that we are basically off to do today is a rescue mission with Jebediah basically rescuing a Kerbal from orbit. But you know what? You guys have already seen that before. It's nothing really all that new. So I'm not really into showing you the entire process of going and rescuing a Kerbal from orbit. It's just not something that I think you're probably into seeing. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty self-explanatory. So we'll go ahead and just look at the next mission that we're going to do instead. But before we get to that, I also wanted to update you on the science, because we do station science, and station science is really awesome. I like it way better than just having a mobile processing lab and just putting data into it. And the reason why I brought the spectrometer is because I can run all of the results through that machine and get an increased science value for it. So you can see me running the different experiments through here, and I get like 10% of the value for transmitting these science experiments until I put it through the spectrometer, and then I get 90%. So it's fantastic. I love this thing, and I can run these experiments as many times as I want, except I have to do it's a different canister, if you will, a different experiment unit per time. So this unit here, once I've run all 6 experiments, it's kind of useless. There's no reason to have it around. It's just additional parts. It's just going to sit there. I've already transmitted the results. So what I decided to do in the station, in a sense, is instead of recovering this vessel, because it's really kind of useless anyway, I've decided to just go ahead and deorbit this one. I might recover the other ones. For contract's sake, there are contracts that tell me to run a certain experiment, and then I have to recover that experiment. So in that case, if that happens, I'll have to recover those. But for the most part here, I'm not really too concerned about just deorbiting this thing. I am going to break down some of the units. Those heavy struts are worth 500 material kits. It's insane. But anyway, I'm going to take this, fill up my material kit storage, and once I can't store any more material kits on the station, I'm just going to go ahead and deorbit the thing, because honestly, I don't really care to deal with, bringing a craft up here with a cargo bay and taking it away, and it's not really that big of a deal. So this thing will say bye-bye to the station. It has its own probe core and everything because, well, you saw me dock it, so now I have to do it. Now, when I bring another one back up, I might only do 1 or 2 experiments at a time. Yeah, a little sped up footage there. I may only do 1 or 2 experiments at a time when I bring them up for the sake of contracts, or I might just bring them all up every time there's a contract for one of them, just because I can run them all the time, and science is science. Okay, so the next mission that we have is for Duna, and this is the Duna race probe. And you guys are familiar with what Duna is, right? We're going to come back to Duna, right? We're getting kind of close to our schedule where we're going to have to, maybe start getting our probes in order and start getting our ducks in a row, if you will, for this. And so this is the Duna race probe. Its entire objective before was to beat the other ones to Duna. Now, I had a problem with this. I had several problems with this when I went to Duna. In Kerbal Space Program 1.1.2, we had some gravity issues, right? We had some center of mass issues, and our maneuvers were moving on us even after we were done burning. This one I had set up to do aerobraking. I had this really close, but now, in 1.1.3, my maneuver node, the same one I had before, it ends up being really, really far away. Specifically, it ends up being 33.8 million meters away from the planet, and on the wrong side. So yeah, I have to correct this orbit well in advance. And so this footage here is sort of in the past. I did it on camera, but I did it late at night, and I wasn't actually planning on making a video of it at the time. But I said, wow, look at this thing. I better record me fixing this because this is kind of a pain in the butt. Now, thankfully, I caught it early enough. I caught it about 81 days before it arrived at its maneuver. So I was able to correct this with fairly minimal delta V expenditures, about 21.6 meters per second, I think is what it was, somewhere around there. And so I was able to sort of get this thing back where it needed to go in the old times. Now, I'm going to be approaching Duna, so I've decided to go back to Strategia, or Strategia, however you want to pronounce it. I'll probably interchange those pronunciations. I've decided to go ahead and take the Duna probe's strategy because it provides a plus 400% funds gain to the milestones around Duna for unmanned probes at the expense of negative 80% funds for every other body. So I'm going to get paid almost nothing for everything except Duna now. So as we approach Duna, I will take you through it in the moment now. Enjoy. We have 909 meters per second on this vessel. So we'll have a little bit less than 20 left over after this maneuver. And the hope is that we'll make another maneuver up here, wherever the apoapsis is. We'll make another maneuver there, and that will bring us out of the atmosphere. Bring us out away from Duna's atmosphere down here. We'll end up around like maybe 60, 65K or so down here. And then that's fine, because the goal of this satellite is just to kind of get up above Duna and just to serve as the relay for all the other ones that are coming. That's the point of this. And by doing it this way, I can sort of limit the dark time, but I can also sort of limit the time in which the satellite's not visible, because it'll spend way more time up here in plain view of the other satellites than it will out of their view, because it spends a lot more time up here than it does down here. So that's the other goal behind that too. That, and I don't have the fuel to circularize. So the truth comes out. Okay, so 888.9 is what we're going to be doing. That's in 11 days. Now let's talk a little bit about RemoteTech, because this is the first time where you and I are going to really experience RemoteTech for what it is, the monster that it is. First off, let's find Duna. Where is it? This Kerbin's there, so Duna would be on this side of us. Probably here? Yeah. There's Duna right there. So, this tiny little dot right there. We can watch the approach as we zoom in, which is pretty cool. Now, one thing I do want to make sure that doesn't happen, because we are going through the atmosphere, I'm hoping that at least one of these solar panels survives. I really wish they were retractable, but I didn't have retractable solar panels unlocked when we launched this. At least I don't remember if we did or not. I don't think we did. So it's going to be kind of a challenge. There is an alternator on the Shiba engine that does provide some electric charge, but it's not going to provide enough to power this dish. And it definitely won't provide enough to power this dish, the dish and the antenna. So if none of the solar panels survive, then this will eventually run out of power, and it will probably die well before anything gets there. And then basically this will be just a junk launch, which is going to be a real big pain in the ass, because that kind of means that other things can't do what they're supposed to do either, which is a really big deal. So what I want to do is I want to get this to be retracted, because we're going through the atmosphere. This might snap, and this is like the whole point is this thing. to communicate with the other satellites that are coming. So I'm going to deactivate this. I'm going to click that. And you'll notice that when I click that, nothing happens. Right, now we have a connection, right? It's green, but nothing happens. And that's because of signal delay. RemoteTech is finally going to show its face. Up until now, it's just been, oh, can you see it? Do you have a connection? Are you in range? That's been the limitation, and we've worked through that pretty well. But now RemoteTech signal delay is going to start taking effect. And there is a 31.16 delay, 31.16 second delay. So I clicked this a while ago, and it's just now going to start retracting right about now. Now it goes in. So it takes, when I tell this vessel to do anything, no matter what it is, it's going to take that long to get there, which is pretty sick. It's going to be difficult. So we're going to be using Flight Computer pretty religiously here. It's kind of the only way to really do it. So I'm going to say point towards the node. I want this thing to point oriented towards its maneuver node. And what do you know? We have the flight computer in here, and there's the whole maneuver node command, but it has to go through 22 seconds more signal delay. So it's not going to start orienting itself towards its maneuver until this ticks down to 0, which is pretty lame. Also, because of those null reference exceptions, because of those null references that are popping up, we also get intermittent freezing of the game. So you'll notice this happening a lot. I'm hoping my recording isn't doing that too. I'm really hoping my voice isn't doing that too. But if I guess if my voice is doing that, then I'll just do post commentary. But yeah, we're gonna have to deal with that. So now this thing is gonna orient itself toward its maneuver, and that means that basically it's the ass end of the probe is forward facing into the atmosphere. So the atmosphere will be hitting. Primarily, we'll be getting hit by the engine will be primarily getting hit, which is a really small engine. So a lot of the other stuff will start taking hits too. But we'll see how it survives. We're not going to be going very deep into the atmosphere, so I'm hoping that the whole thing survives. We'll see. Okay, so you guys want to see the approach? That's my favorite part. My favorite part of anything is just watching and like in awe of how things work. So let's go ahead and do our approach. I'm going to get rid of the interface because I don't want it in my way. And then, time acceleration. You can see Ike is orbiting around Duna over there. And I'm just going to time accelerate a little bit more. And I think we're getting into... Not sure why it's slowing down. Hold on. Why are you slowing me down? You got 3 days. You shouldn't be slowing me down at all. Okay, well, full black. Now what does that mean? Does that mean that we are... No. We're not in the sphere of influence yet. What in the world are you doing? Why you keep slowing down my time acceleration for? Come on. Well, I don't know what this thing is doing. Throttling back time warp. Flight computer, throttling back time warp. Why? Let's go. There we go. There's Duna. Oh yeah, look at it come in. We're just gonna miss Ike. It's gonna be sweet. 36 minutes till maneuver. I'm gonna get the interface out of the way. Let's get ourselves like right up in there. Oh yeah. That's like thumbnail right there. The only way this could be better, like seeing this, the only way this could be better is if these solar panels weren't messed up. It's the only thing that can make this better. Because it's pretty sweet right now, I think. It's been a while, Duna, since you and I met. Oh yeah. Let's take a look at the HUD here. Okay, so everything still looks pretty nominal. The maneuver prograde prompt, I guess the 3-minute warning to a maneuver starts now. So in 3 minutes we'll be making our burn. And then, I mean, at this point we're pretty much committed. There's not much we could do and still have the mission succeed to like alter our course. So we are locked in. It is what it is now at this point. It's time to accelerate a little bit. I'm gonna give it lots of time. I want to give it a lot of time to decide what it wants to do. Going in underneath Duna, so we're going to be hitting around the South Pole. And we should be starting this maneuver just before entering the atmosphere. So here we go. We're underneath Duna. We're in the South Pole. And here is the maneuver. Our periapsis was actually rising a little bit, and now it's going to start dropping. But that's how it has to be, so hopefully we don't go too deep. I really hope these things survive. At least one. Like, if the other ones blow up, then fine, but like, at least one needs to make it. And yeah, there's really no reason to even watch all these stats, because there's no reason to have the display up because I can't do anything anyway, so let's just watch it happen. We should be entering the atmosphere pretty soon. Actually, I kind of do want to see that. I kind of do want to know. Okay, so we're going to be entering the atmosphere right about now. It's 50K, so there we go. So we are in the atmosphere technically right now. Oh, come on, don't burn up. We're going really fast. We're starting to slow down, but we're still going pretty fast, so. I don't have a good memory of how Duna's atmosphere is. I know it's really thin, but I don't have a really good solid memory on it, so I might be worried for nothing. Well, we are getting heat. We are getting heat. But hopefully it's not too much heat. Are we in good shape? You're gonna survive. Come on. We're getting close to the lowest possible point, or the lowest point of our approach. So far, only one panel is under, like, distress. So, nope, and now none of them are. I think we're in good shape, guys. As far as heat goes, I think we're good. Yep, we're starting to climb now. Altitude is climbing. So it looks like we're going to get away with this. All of our solar panels are going to survive. That's pretty good. Yeah, it just triggered a little bit there. I think our initial altitude is too low. I don't think the probe would have burned up. I think the probe would have been fine, but solar panels definitely, I think, were an issue. Another aero brake will put me here, this white line. The blue line is where I am now. If I aero brake again and risk the panels, which we didn't have too bad. The panels didn't do too bad at that altitude. And they'll be actually going a little slower this time, so it might be worth it to go one more round. Because that looks like it's a good 100 kilometers or so. And I kind of want that. So, yeah, we're going to go around one more time, I think. So I'm going to tell this thing to point orbital retrograde all the time. Oh, I don't have a signal. Well, hello. Hello, RemoteTech. Let's go up above Duna here. Time accelerate until we have a signal with Kerbin, which should be when we get to the top of this. Another reason for going polar. Up, up, up. Should get a signal as soon as Kerbin's in range, and it is now in range. So we are going to tell this thing to point orbital retrograde, and that will be the command that it has. So it will now do that. There we go. And actually, it's going to need to point pretty much the orientation it was already. So with time acceleration in place, we'll stop its rotation, and then we'll have it continue that command when it gets to the other side. So here we are here. Let's go up and over. And we're just going to stop real quick at the apoapsis, just because I want to see Duna. Nice. You can see Duna has clouds as well. These is environmental visual enhancements, as well as, well, okay, that's not entirely correct. The mod I'm using is stock visual enhancements, as well as stock visual terrain, as well as scatterer, as well as distant object enhancements and stuff. But the clouds are added by environmental visual enhancements. So, because it has an atmosphere, so we put clouds on things that have atmospheres, I guess. That makes sense, right? It kind of looks like a sandstorm kind of thing, right? Sweeping through. Kind of looks like a sandstorm. Oh, man. All right, we're going to go down again. All right. Now, before we enter the atmosphere, I'm going to let this thing rotate. So I'm going to wait for this to get to about, let's say, 50K or 60K. And then we'll go ahead and we'll just dial it back now. And let this thing turn itself. We're going to go aerobrake one more time. Bring this orbit down a bit more. I think the panels will be okay. It's a risk I'm willing to take here. Our orbital speed is much slower than it was before, so it shouldn't be that big of an issue. Because we're already going, we're already in orbit speed. We're already in orbit. We're not trying to be captured. So our velocity is already reduced from the previous pass. Okay, so this thing should face itself retrograde, just like it did before. And yeah, we'll see how this works out. Look at that. Oh, this game is gonna get so much fun now. So much fun now. I want to check our resources here. Yeah, 1.6 million now. Yeah. Because we completed this contract. Fly by Duna. Talk about close encounters. Any closer and there'd be paperwork. Yeah, I think actually if I had gone closer, there would have been paperwork there. I'm not sure. Mimus N Science Sat-4 debris destroyed. Okay. Don't know why, but all right. Recent accomplishments of our space program have attracted contributions from numerous organizations. So these are the milestones that Strategia is going to help us with, or Strategia, whatever you want to say. These are the milestones that it's going to help us with. We get like a lot more money for these things. Look at this. We get a lot more cash for each one of these milestones. because we're targeting probes around Duna, which is great. Initiated first flyby of Duna. We've entered into suborbital space flight above Duna. We have entered into atmospheric flight above Duna, because we aerobraked. So that's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. And our aerobrake here, this time, resulted in no heat problems at all. And on top of having no heat problems, if I just time accelerate a bit, okay, we're out of the atmosphere for good now. Not for good, but you can see that the orbit, our apoapsis is now under 600K. And if I go around again, I'll have it even lower. So as long as your speed is safe, you don't need to spend all your fuel getting into a good orbit. You can just aerobrake. For those of you who are new to the game anyway, you can just use the atmosphere of the planet that you're going by to slow you down, which is the same, I mean, in effect of your orbit anyway. It's the same as thrusting in reverse. You know? You're applying pressure to your vehicle in a specific direction, or in this case, we're applying friction, which slows us down. Or I think the proper terminology would be atmospheric drag. So should we go around one more time? Just to do it? I kind of think we should. I think we're gonna go around one more time. Whee! Getting closer to atmosphere here. And time acceleration is slowing me down automatically. It's not me doing it. It's just because you can only go so fast under a certain altitude. So, okay, so we're gonna go around one more time and then we're done. I'll go ahead and finalize the orbit once this happens. So, and then I'll either end the episode or we'll just have a longer episode and I'll do the other satellites. Probably not gonna do that. I think in the next episode we'll, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's worth waiting like 200 days of progress on the other stuff that we can do. I don't think it's worth waiting for that to do all the Duna satellites, because they're just unmanned satellites anyway. It's not like we're going to set the base up anyway. So the base setup and stuff, that gets done in the next transfer window. We're going to send things in the next transfer window, including Kerbals. I'm thinking I'm going to send 2 pilots, 3 scientists, and 2 engineers. I think that's what I want to do. A seven crew to Duna. I'm not sure, but I think that's what I want to do. As long as I have the science resources to handle it, you know. As well as the crew. I have to have the manpower to handle that as well. So it'll be interesting. We'll see how that works out. You can see our apoapsis falling again. 585 now. Go into the map view. It's dropping it down. So this is what these 3 lines represent sort of the results of aerobraking. So this is where we are now. This is where we're going to be. And then this is where we will be if we aerobrake again. Pretty cool. So we'll do a little bit of time acceleration. Since we're in the atmosphere, I'm not going to do... actually, I kind of want to watch the vehicle, just to make sure. Not going to do 4 times time acceleration. Maximum I do is 3 times if I'm in the atmosphere. Just don't want any trickery to happen with the Kraken. Approaching our lowest point. And up we go. And this is definitely our final pass. This is definitely the last orbit. We don't want to go too low, so I am going to definitely end the aerobraking here. That's our last pass in the atmosphere anyway. Obviously, this thing will be orbiting Duna for a very long time, but this will be the final pass to the atmosphere. And then once we have a signal back, I can extend this antenna again. And everything will be fine. And there we go. See the sun, and we see Kerbin. Cool. So let's go ahead and say face the node and execute the maneuver. All right, signal delay is only 33 seconds. Sorry, I lied. 35.42 seconds. But that's okay. The maneuver is 20 minutes away. So a lot of what we do, we're gonna have to like plan ahead really and just do it in advance so that we don't have to deal with signal delays. That's gonna be more of a challenge when we re-enter the atmosphere, when we drop a probe down to the surface, because one of the probes that are coming is a surface probe. And we have to have it land safely with the parachutes and whatever. So that's gonna be a challenge. And that challenge is very similar. We're gonna have to execute that in a very similar way than what we did in episode 11 of this series. So if you haven't seen episode 11, you should totally watch that, because it gives a great demonstration of how to land in the atmosphere or in an atmospheric world with RemoteTech. And that's what we're gonna be doing with Duna. So, yeah. Accelerate time to the maneuver. Man, Duna. We're gonna be doing a lot together, Duna, in the next few, in the coming weeks. The coming weeks of videos. We're going to be doing a lot together. Maybe not the coming weeks. I mean, like really, like the next couple of days, we're gonna be doing some stuff together, but like, it's going to take a while before we are really ready to go to Duna. This is a lengthy series, if you guys haven't figured that out by now. This is like a full playthrough. Like, we're going to do pretty much everything this game has to offer in this playthrough. So, it's pretty extensive, I think. All right, just got to make sure my solar panels have an adequate view of the sun. In order to do that, since I can't really control it very well with the keyboard, I think what I'll do is I'm going to come over here. I'll get myself lined up kind of on the equator. Ish, so about maybe like here or so. That's pretty good. And then I'm going to tell it to face radial in. Or is that negative or positive? Which one's radial in? I think it's positive. No, it might be negative. You know what? I'm gonna go with negative and hope that that's right. I think it's anti-radial. I think I said radial negative. I'm pretty sure it's anti-radial, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not sure. Let's see what happens. Yep, I got it right. Cool. So we'll have the thing face anti-radial when it's near the equator. And that's kind of like facing the solar panels outwards. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense though. I should actually have it facing normal. I should have it facing radial, because if I wanted to be like aesthetically correct, this big dish should be pointing towards Kerbin, right? Not towards the surface of Duna. So yeah, I probably should be facing the other direction. Also, this antenna needs to be extended, so we'll go ahead and put that order in as well. Activate. There we go. Okay, and time accelerate till these commands are in place. There we go. So antenna's out now, and it's going to rotate itself to face radial near the equator, which should lead to us pointing kind of right at the sun. Pretty close. Close enough to keep it alive, to keep this probe working. Yep. That will do. That'll do, donkey. Don't ever do that again, Charlie. Don't ever do that again. Kill rotation. That's going to take 35 seconds to get there. But once we kill the rotation, we should be good. And then it will just stay just like this. And these solar panels all have a pretty good view of the sun. a lot more than we need it to have. So I'll just time accelerate a bit till this command is in, and there we go. So kill rotation command is in, and that's it. This probe is now ready. We are ready to receive probes around Duna. Pretty pumped about that. Gotta say, I'm pretty pumped. 40 days until the ground-based package arrives, and I am so nervous about that. You just have no idea how nervous I am about that ground-based package. Oh my gosh, like I've been robbed like so much, you know? So much robbing going on with that ground-based package. All right, yep, so these solar panels are messed up, but we can retract these. These ones can be retracted, so if I retract these panels, oh, there's no signal to send a command on. Of course there's not. Of course there's no signal, because this doesn't have the big antenna. It only has this one, this big 32, Communitron 32. So, yeah. We'll just have to wait until we're in range of Duna to do this. But if you remember from the episode where we launched this, which I think that episode was, what is it, like the high 50s, like maybe 57, 58, something like that. If you recall, this is the launch where the mainsail engine on this thing, are you just gonna spin around in circles? What are you doing? Orbital, that's not accurate. I would have never told you to go radial out. Yeah, but you're totally in there to point radial. Okay, well, whatever. You're gonna point to the maneuver when you need to anyway. Speaking of maneuver for this thing, is it messed up? You know? Is it messed up like the other satellite was? Duna periapsis is 45. I actually kind of approve of that, although it does look like it's dropping. It's because our craft is still rotating, isn't it? Yeah, I bet it's done rotating now, so yeah. Okay, fair enough. So 45 is not really aerobraking a lot. I think we should probably get this to where it goes even deeper. I think we should. We have a lot of monopropellant though, right? We don't have a whole lot of fuel, but we do have monopropellant. Yes, okay, good. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna pull these panels in when we enter the atmosphere. And we'll pull the panels in. We have a maneuver. Oh, there's a 1 meter per second maneuver in place right now. Oh, did I set that up? When did I do that? Hold on, let's take a look. What are we doing here? Let's go Duna, focus on Duna. Okay, it's gonna bring us to 28,303. Wow, that's, do I wanna do that? I mean, I kinda have to, right? Total delta V on this craft is 493. And this maneuver here is 415. Oh, like, do I wanna do that? I don't know if I wanna go that deep in. I'm kind of thinking that's not something I wanna do. I don't think I wanna aerobrake quite that extreme. Let's change this node. This is node 1. Come on. Let's change this a bit. Let's go outwards like this. And we'll see if I think it's 31. Okay, where this is, I think this is better. Let's bring this up a bit. Let's bring this to, where is it? 34. You know what? That's probably good. We'll bring it to 34. And I think that way, it'll bring, yeah, it brings the apoapsis here, but with aerobraking in place, this can go down a lot. So I think we'll be fine. But we're gonna have to be really choosy as to when we do the commands because it's not gonna be in range. This is too far away. The apoapsis is too far away to reach this satellite. So we're gonna have to be like just right timing, you know. Maybe we put the command in here or something. But then this satellite's blocked by Duna, so we'd have to be. There's a pretty narrow window where we can put new commands in for this thing. And I think for that reason, and for that reason only, I'm actually gonna be a little bit more risky here. Let's bring this back in a little bit more. Let's bring it down to about like, say, 32. That's good. I think we'll do that. I think that's good enough to survive and aerobrake pretty well, so. Should we do this right now, guys? Should I just time accelerate 40 days ahead and just do this? I think we're gonna wait. I think I wanna do, there's something else I wanna do before this. It's a lot of fun. I've never done it before. It's a new contract pack we just installed. You might remember from last episode. Or maybe it's this episode. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this. Because I'm in a rush to record as much as I can before my in-laws get here. Let's see. The new contract that we have, where is Capcom? There it is. The one I'm looking at, or the one I'm thinking of is, not this one, but this one. Hold a space camp. I really like this idea. Hold a space camp. And we have to have, on board the vessel, we have to have a pilot, an engineer, and a scientist. And at least one of those things has to be a level 2. And then we have a whole bunch of passengers to bring in space camp. We have Ducal Kerman, Asdia Kerman, Herney Kerman, Berkey Kerman, Gilfia Kerman. Who are they come up with these names? I don't know. Meldred Kerman, Dan Beth. I know I skipped some. It doesn't matter. The point is, you can see we have a ton of Kerbals to bring, and they have to be in orbit above 75,000 meters, and they have to be there for 40 days, which means I need life support to support all of them too. Do you know what this means? This means we're gonna have space camp, and we're gonna take them to the freaking space station, and they're just gonna be in the space station, you guys. Because it meets all the requirements, right? We're just gonna take them to the space station, and that's it. There's already experienced people on the space station. We'll just haul them up, bring them to the space station for 40 days. And then some of these people will actually join our team later after space camp. We're bringing 13 tourists into a long-term orbital training facility. Some will join our space program when they return. Isn't that nice? So we'll get some free people, as well as 114,000 rewards and plus 25 reputation. Oh yeah. Mortimer is constantly complaining about the cost of hiring new astronauts. Well, I understand that. Rather than wasting our funds on training recruits or picking up whichever Kerbals happen to be in need of rescue from low Kerbin orbit, we should set up a space camp and train paid tourists to join the space program. Bring the tourists and some instructors to a long-term training facility in orbit, like the space station. And when they come home, we'll see which ones are good candidates for joining the space program. That's what I want to do in the next episode, guys. I know we want to get the Duna thing going, but like space camp just sounds. I probably will do this in the next episode, but the start of the next one, we're definitely going to be doing space camp. It's going to be so much fun. I will see you then. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please. It really helps a lot. You can comment down below. That helps a lot too, and I read all your comments, and they're awesome. And I just love every single one of you guys. It's great. And if you're not subscribed already, consider doing so. If you like the video, you might like the next ones. You might like the previous ones. Get notified when new ones are available by subscribing. It helps the channel a lot. Pretty much everything you do with the channel, aside from a thumbs down, helps the channel. So, and helps me make more. It encourages me to make more, because I'm already encouraged anyway. Who am I kidding? I'm gonna make more anyway. Take care, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.